been working on, except these are just triangles because of the way they're laid out. But what's different about this is that the triangles are overlapping, or you can think of one inside the other. So as you look at this shape, like there are two triangles, right? There is this triangle here that's in red. And then there's a second triangle inside that's in blue. And so we need to be able to figure out how they relate, and especially if I give you variables and I only give you parts of the longer sides. So first, angle X is congruent to which angle? And how do you know? It's congruent to angle R because that's the first angle in the second triangle. So remember, we match up the letters from the name, but it's easier here because they're in the same position. They're in the exact same position. One's just smaller than the other. And then angle Z is congruent to angle S. So you can see that these two would be the congruent ones. And then angle Y is congruent to angle Y. Now when we do sides, the sides are XY over, sorry, wrong butt ways, XY over RY, right? So we have this side, which is long, and then we compare it to this side. And then we have YZ over YS. And then we have ZX over SR. Now these two sides obviously don't touch, but the other ones we have to be able to figure out, like that it's this piece plus this piece that makes the whole thing. So think back to the segment addition that we did so you can see that relationship. So it's just about being able to see how long is AB. That's it, just being able to add those two. Sometimes it's easier than others, but just being able to add those two sides. So when I do this one, if I do just the 20, what does the 20 match? This side matches the whole thing, right? So then I need to recognize that that's 28. And then I can say that 15 matches 2x plus 3. You can close the door, whoever's right there, because it's going to get loud. Huh? Yes. So that's all we have to do, is to be able to cross multiply. Now, I can simplify this fraction. If you can see this, it makes it easier. If I divide those both by 4, that's 5 over 7. That makes easier numbers to deal with. So that when I cross multiply, I have 5 times 2x plus 3 equals 7 times 15. Distribute. 10x plus 15 equals 90. Minus, 105. Got ahead of myself in a step. 15, 105, minus 15. So 10x equals 90. X is 9. Now, if I ask you to find BC, what do you do? If X is 9, what do you do to find BC? BC, so go ahead. Yep, just replace the X. So that's 2 times 9 plus 3. 18 plus 3 is 21. This one's a little trickier simply because I need to make sure that I match up the right pieces. So like, what does MP match? So the first thing I want to do is figure out which parts match. So MN is the first two letters here. That matches QR here. That's not helpful. And then NP, which is right here, matches RP, which is right here, which means that MP, first and last, matches QR, which is, or QP, which is first and last. So now that I've figured out which sides go together, now I can solve for X and then PR. So 24 over 3x minus 9. Oops, nope, I did that wrong. See, pay attention to where you're going. 24 matches 28. So 24 over 28 equals, and I went from the small to the big, so this is the smaller one. So that means it's x plus 8 over 3x minus 9. That S and B is, I'm just showing you that we went both times from small to big. So now, again, I want to simplify this fraction. It just makes the numbers easier. You don't have to, but it makes the numbers easier. If I divide those both by 4, I get 6 over 7. So that when I cross multiply, I get 6 times 3x minus 9 equals 7 times x plus 8. Distribute, that's 18x minus 54 equals 7x plus 56 minus 7x plus 54 plus 54. I get 11x equals 110. Divide, x is 10. Now, I'm not done because I ask you to find PR. So PR equals 3x minus 9. So that's 3 times 10 minus 9. That's 21. So don't forget that step. So it's really important that you remember how to name the triangles. When you first look at this, you might be tempted to think that these are the sides that match because it just folds in half or something, and then it becomes those overlapping triangles. But we figured out that MN, that doesn't help us, NP, which is this one, matches RP, which is this one. So once you discern that those match, then it makes sense that those match, and you have to go through and set up your equation. The math isn't difficult. You just need to know how to set this equation up. This is the most important part. Once you get to here, once you know how to set the equation up, the rest of it is repeated things from what we've done for the last 3 years. It's just knowing how to set up that highlighted equation, the proportion for our similar triangles, that sets us up for practice. Okay, let's look at number 3. So RST, that's the one on the outside, and YSL, or YSZ, that's the one on the inside. So it's not hard to figure out which parts match. What is difficult is, what is this piece? What is SZ? How much? 45. And how'd you get that? 40 minus 5. So SZ is ST minus ZT. So this is 40 minus 5, which is 35. You just have to have that. You have to recognize that this piece and this piece equal that piece outside, just so that you can see that and make sure that you can find that measurement. So then I say that 30 matches what? Or sorry, 35. Don't put 30. 35 matches 40. So that's 35 and 40. So again, that's small to big. So then that means 2x plus 2 over 3x minus 7. I just want to simplify this because it makes the multiplying easier. The divided by 5 is 7 over 8. So that when I cross multiply, 7 times 3x minus 7 equals 8 times 2x plus 2. Distribute 21x minus 49 equals 16x plus 16. So subtract 16x from both sides, add 49 to both sides. I get 5x equals 65. Divide by 5, x is 13. Now, is that all I ask you to find? No, I ask you to find yz. And yz is 2x plus 2. So yz equals 2x plus 2. That's 2 times 13 plus 2, 28. The only part about this one that might be challenging is remembering how to subtract that. And again, how to set up your equation. You don't need to simplify your fraction like I did. It just makes it easier for me to do in my head without having a calculator. But I can say 35 times 2, or times 3. I can do this problem right here and say 35 times 3x and 35 times negative 7, because you have calculators that'll do that for you. But if you want to stretch your brain, then simplify your fraction and try to do it without a calculator. All right, the last one I want to show you before I let you do the back half on your own. This one has a variable in one of my side measurements. So I know the measurement here and here. What is the measurement for the whole thing? It's x plus 8 for km. So km equals x plus 8. What does kd equal? kd is this whole thing. So it's x plus 8 plus 21, which is x plus 29. So kz equals 32. What's kh? 60, because it's 32 plus 28, which is 60. So this is x plus 29, and this piece is 60. And I need those because those are the sides that I'm comparing. I'm comparing the whole side after I did part of it and the whole side here. So now, when I set my problem up, 32 over 60 equals x plus 8 over x plus 29. I really want to simplify this. If I divide those both by 4, I get 8 and 15. That's much easier for me to do, except that one's still a big number. So I get 8 times x plus 29 equals 15 times x plus 8. Ran out of room. Let me rewrite that. Fifteen times x plus 8 equals 8 times x plus 29. Much better. So this is 15x plus 120 equals 8x plus 232 that I get from distributing, minus 8x minus 120, 7x equals 112. Divide by 7, x is 16. And that's all you are asked to find. So again, pay attention to how we found this number and this number. Recognize that you're comparing an addition so that you can set up your equations. Again, the only new thing here out of all of this is understanding how the triangles are related. So it's these two and these two. Or I can say this one and then the whole thing. And then I compare it to this over this. There are lots of different ways to write these proportions. As long as you go the same direction both times, you should be fine.